everyone, I'm Alex and I'm the hands behind Lovecraft Crochet. My plushies are for the anxious, depressed, autistic, and neurodivergent. Small enough to travel in a purse, backpack, diaper bag, or even your pocket. You can check out my Facebook page or TikTok to see what patterns are available and stay tuned for the new ones coming out. I also make hats, scarves, blankets, and dice bags for the tabletop gamer or dice goblin in your life. Feel free to order through the page, TikTok DMs, or via email at love.craft.crochet@gmail.com. Now, on to the segment.
Due to the graphic and disturbing nature of the crimes discussed, listener discretion is advised. Retrostatic Radio presents Killing 15 Minutes.
Hello and welcome to Killing 15 Minutes, where we will give you your serial killer fix in 15 minutes or less, or your podcast is free. I'm Sam Rossi, and shortly I will be handing a poorly written synopsis of a serial killer to my brother, who hasn't read it, on a serial killer he's most likely hasn't heard of. This should be fun. Good luck, bro.
You brought me another beige one, huh? Anyways, thanks, Sam. Raymond Lassner strangled 3 women in the span of 2 months in Providence, Rhode Island, during the summer of 1984. The first victim was found on June 26th in a vacant lot in downtown Providence. Lori Calucci's body was partially dressed. Wanda Sue Adams' partially dressed body was found floating in the fuck you, Rhode Island.
Which one is that? Let me see.
That's the Woonasquatucket River.
Oh, yes, that sounds about right.
On August 17th. Adams was in Providence visiting family. The final victim, Dolores Newser, was found in a parking garage, badly beaten and partially dressed on August 30th. Fearing a serial killer, a task force was formed. On September 18th, Carrie Ann Talbot was found badly beaten, I'm assuming she didn't die, and raped in Roger Williams Park. The 14-year-old was barely alive but would survive to tell her story. The day before she was found, a friend of hers introduced her to Ray, a pimp who frequented the downtown bus station. After smoking some dope, because weed's the devil's tool.
Not all of it.
No, especially not now. Now you can get fucking purple Urkel and shit.
Purple Urkel.
I feel like we should do just a special episode on drugs.
Maybe one day.
And how they pertain to crime and how weed is a very stupid, punishable drug.
True.
But anyways, after smoking some dope together, Talbot was attacked by him. After brutally beating her, he left her to die, believing that she would not survive. Talbot and her friend would pick Raymond Lassner, a drifter and sex worker, out of a multiple photo lineup. Lassner was arrested on September 18th and would confess to the murders and the rapes. He would sign 4 confessions in total at different times. Lassner knew details only the murderer would know. At the time of his arrest, he was facing assault charges in his hometown of Westerly. Those charges, however, were dropped later, probably to
allow him to be charged for murder.
Well, exactly, because
extradition.
Well, it's his hometown of Westerly, I still assume is Rhode Island.
I think so.
So I don't think it's a jurisdictional issue?
It might be. I'm not entirely sure, but they dropped the charges.
Fair enough. Lassner's trial would start in 1986. Hey, that was the year Sammy was born.
This is true.
And he would be found guilty of murders and the rape. With multiple sentences of life without parole, he was the first convicted under the new statutes. Now, Sam found Lassner to be lackluster and boring. Lassner never said why he killed. He is beige in the color wheel of serial killers. He killed, but that is it. No rhyme or reason. Sorry for the most boring serial killer. Now, here's what I'm not gonna defend Lassner, I'm going to say he is totally beige. Because this, to me, this doesn't scream serial killer. In so far as the mentality of a serial killer goes. Like, they brought up that Ray was a pimp. Ray was a drifter and a sex worker.
Yep.
Okay? I don't see it as he's a serial killer, even in the same vein as the beige one you brought me before. Because that's what this batch record's going to be so far. The next one better have at least 10 bodies.
Well, let me see
and
what the
steal
next one is.
someone's toe.
Let me see what the next one is.
I'm sorry about yelling. But anyways, what I mean is, to me, did he murder them? Yes. Was he a serial killer in a technical paper term? You know, killing multiple people in a time, etc., etc., etc. Now, the sex worker thing, as we've seen in a lot of episodes previously, the sex worker angle, the drifter, all of those do work for the psychological profile of a serial killer. But I think he was a rapist
Who, by chance,
who happened to murder the people he was trying to rape.
I will completely agree with that. If you really, really, really want to know what he did to these women, True Crime New England has an episode on Raymond Lassner. I listened to it. It did not help his beiginess. It didn't help. I tried everything to figure out this serial killer, but I could not find any rhyme or reason for why he did it.
Well, again, that's why it's one of those things where it's not that there's a rhyme or reason. The reason is rape.
Right.
Assumably. I don't know about the first partially dressed ones. Were those rapes, or was it...
I believe that they were raped.
Okay. But it is still one of those things. The rhyme to it is rape. Sorry, the rhyme rhymes with the word grape.
But he...
But the reason seems to be...
I will say he was sick and how he committed his crimes and the rapes.
But again, for all that, check out... Because... Oh my god, we're not even at 7 minutes.
No, we can have a short one.
No, it's time to waffle. So...
No, he was beige.
And I can't even think of, like, the only thing that made me want to, is where you were like, there's no rhyme to reason. That is, and actually, you know what? Maybe you can pad this out. I think that's the big difference between a serial killer and a serial killer. For what I mean by that is...
You're saying that...
On paper, on technical, if you look at what the legal definition of a serial killer is, that's what Raymond Lassner is.
Yes.
However, on a psychological level...
I do not see him...
I see it more as he was a rapist who happens to have killed the people he raped. Or tried to.
Right.
Because while you can argue that the power dynamic is similar to a serial killer and why a serial killer would kill, we've covered serial killers who were also rapists.
Yes.
But it doesn't click that... this is apparently going to be this batch records running gag, the normie train.
The normie train.
Okay?
We got the normie train back.
A lot of serial killers, and this is where you can split hairs because it's like, well, on a psychological level, it's not very different. But he knew what he was doing was wrong.
Well, most of them do.
Most of them can understand what they're doing is wrong, but because of their inherent train being not on the air quote normal brain track, and again, that doesn't mean neurodivergency, that just means that rationalization goes out the window. Or
we're using normal as in those of us that do not kill normal.
Yes, it's it's neurotypical in the, well, I'm not killing people right now. Not in a, you're thinking neurotypically. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, whereas I'm in the middle of an ADHD just fucking riffing track here, so I understand spicy brains. That's caffeine plus ADHD. A little bit of anxiety. No panic today, though, so...
Hey!
Anyways, No one saw my little dance. But anyways, so for this, it's more like, I think this is a good way to think of it in where my brain goes with this, okay?
Okay.
Al Capone
Okay.
killed a lot of people.
Yes.
He was a gangster. He killed a lot of people by himself. He was not a serial killer, although by definition he would meet Mao Zedong or, dictators. Turn around. Did their actions kill a lot of people? Yes. Did they personally kill a lot of people? Possibly. I mean, they at least ordered it. But, and you could argue about Mao Zedong, or, you can always argue that, well, their brains were not neurotypical, which is why they led into more hardcore fascism, totalitarianism, which is fair. But when I say Al Capone or Bugsy Malone or Scarface, which I think was Bugsy Malone.
I don't remember. No, that was Al Pacino.
So it was Al Capone. Okay. But anyways, but when you think of Meyer Lansky, well, a lot of people will say the Iceman, whatever his name was. The hit man for the mob.
Yes, I remember which one
he counts as a serial killer to a lot of people, but that's also because of where his psychology was.
Yeah, he used the same method where a lot of hitmen for the mob,
like Meyer Lansky, and the Meyer Lansky, I believe, was the one who ran Murder Inc.
I think
Don't
so.
quote me on that. It's been a while since I've listened to American Mob stories. That was my 6 months ago hyper focus. This week it's military history.
I'm stuck in medieval times and ancient.
Oh, I'm sorry, military history, and I am watching You've Got Cats deep dive into Degrassi. I have many interests. Anyways, but for when it comes to things like Iceman, I would say he's a serial killer who happened to be a hitman. But I would say something like Murder Inc. in general, the murdery part of the Italian mob that does not exist and never existed. No one just saw the wink or the thumbs up. But, they were, to put it in a very weird way, businessmen about murder.
Yes.
They would kill people, sometimes in the same way, but it would be, like a hitman might do a 22 behind the head just because 22s are quiet, especially if they're right at point blank, especially if you got one of those cool bolty actiony ones. Not bolt action, but pretty much what it is instead of having like a Glock
slide,
instead of a slide, because if you put it to someone's head, that can actually damage the slide.
Right.
But something like Luger, which
right.
has only in the back end, it doesn't have, like the barrel doesn't
yes.
move and there's nothing over the barrel or anything like that. It uses the gas. There's also another one, 22 LR. But anyways.
Why would you use long rifling when you should use short in a?
Because it still packs a bit more of a punch and it still will stick inside the person's brain crane. Anyways, not the point. The point is you can have mob hits. That's why we know what air quote atypical mob hit is. But no one ever thinks, oh, that was serial killing.
No,
they were serial killings. Like, and that's what it's the weird thing is like this. I would say yes. Is it a serial killing because it is one person doing the same thing to different people? Yes. Is it the serial killer in a psychological sense?
Yeah.
No. But again, this is all I have for my information on this.
He was beige.
He's beige, and I've been waffling. Please tell me we're at 15 minutes.
Nope, but we're good.
Okay, we'll stick it at that. Final thoughts. This guy's beige. Next time, bring me the Iceman Killer.
Might be. Maybe one day I will. All right, I'm Sam Rossi.
And I'm AJ Carey.
Later, y'all.
Booses.
Killing 15 Minutes is hosted by Arthur Carey, with scripts written and researched by Sam Rossi. If you like this episode or want to stay updated on this series, consider following Killing 15 Minutes on Patreon or Retrostatic Radio on all major social media platforms. Good night and God bless.
You're watching Retrostatic Radio.
Wheel of Random is turn, turn, turn. Tell us the 15 minutes we shall learn.
I'm Sam Rossi, writer and co-host of Randomly 15 Minutes, where the Wheel of Randomness gives me the topic and I write about it.
I'm Megan Klodnicki, and I'm the host of Randomly 15 Minutes. I cold read what Sam writes and learn in real time about a random topic.
You can find us on all major podcast platforms and YouTube.
Follow us on Facebook at Randomly 15 Minutes to get more random facts.